Examination of the newborn. First of all, I want to introduce to you the equipment that I need to do this procedure. Okay, in the tray that I have here, the receiver in a tray containing 3 gallipods, 1 containing swabs, 2 empty gallipods, thermometer stand, and there are some thermometers there in the stand. Need boiled cool water, spirit, stethoscope, code plug, and a measuring tape. That's all I need to do this procedure. And then the examination of the newborn is done in the presence of the mother. So the mother has to see whatever we are doing on the baby. So, yes.
Oh, the mother is there.
The mother.
Just sit.
As usual, before I start the procedure, I need to go to the mother, introduce myself, and tell the mother what I want to do on the baby. So, Madam Mwenye, student number 11-8 in the Wish College of Nursing, I've been assigned to come and examine your baby. Will you allow me? Yes. Okay, let me just prepare. When I prepare, I'll come and get the baby. And I'm going to do everything in your presence. If you have any questions, you are free to ask me. And I also need a pair of clean gloves. So I'll go and wash my hands. Baby Mwenye, how are you? Okay. When I get the baby from the mother, I need to look at the general condition of the baby. I have to look at the activities on the baby and the general condition of the baby. The general condition, from what I've seen, is okay. So now I'm going to proceed. Before I do anything, I need to check the temperature of the baby. Spirit in one of the gallipods.
She's preparing everything that she can, even congratulate the mother so that she feels. Oh, congratulations. Baby looks nice.
Bouncing.
You've given birth to a very big baby.
Very beautiful.
Beautiful baby. Madam,
How you manage without it?
it's a the baby.
You want to do it?
So I'll get one swab, Genital spirit, and the thermometer. I need another receiver. This one. Take a small one. Get another swab, dip it in plain water, and then clean the thermometer like that. And then I need to check the temperature of the baby. I'm going to put the thermometer in the armpit of the baby. Okay, I just want to be sure whether the temperature of the baby is okay or not. So the temperature is 36.5. Temperature is okay. So I'll disinfect the thermometer with spirit. The time I started cleaning, I started from the valve. This time I'm going to start from here because this place is considered to be the cleanest now after use. And then before use, this valve is considered to be the cleanest part. So I'll clean it like that. And then put it back in the container. So I'm going to expose the baby now. I'll start with the end, like that. Without exposing the baby entirely, I'll only expose the part that I'll be working from. So I'll look at the head of the baby, okay, to check for any abnormality, the hair, okay, whether scanty or it's just okay. And then also I'm going to look for any cephalohematoma or caput succedaneum, of which, for me to differentiate the two, a caput succedaneum does not cross the suture line. So I'll know this is a caput. And then the cephalohematoma is localized. The cephalohematoma? The caput crosses the suture line. Is it not what is it? Okay. So for me to differentiate between the caput and the cephalohematoma, the caput crosses the suture line, and then the cephalohematoma is localized. So that's how I'm going to differentiate the two. So I'll check. Okay, there is no caput in this case. There is no caput. There is no cephalohematoma. So I need now to run through the sutures. Okay, I'm trying to check for excessive moulding. Okay, excessive overlapping of the suture. So I'm going to run my hands through the suture line. There is no excessive moulding. Okay, the suture line are okay. And then I'm going to identify the two fontanelles. The posterior fontanelles, of which it can only admit the tip of my finger there, I can feed it. And then the anterior fontanelle, which is supposed to give me a diamond shape, and it's bigger than the posterior fontanelle. Okay, so everything here on the baby is normal. There is no abnormality which I've seen. Okay, from the head now, I'm going to proceed to the face. On the face there, I'm going to look at the facial paralysis, of which when you look at the baby's face, you can see the receding of the chin. Okay, it's an indicator to say there is an injury to the nerves. So the face is okay. There's no facial paralysis. And then I'm going to move to the eyes. I'll check if the eyes are symmetrical. The eyes are symmetrical. And then I'm going to open. Usually the baby's eyes mostly, they close their eyes. So I need to open the two eyes. You open this one, you do the same to the other one. You see if the ball is there. The ball is there. Okay, then I'm going to check for any abnormalities on the eye. There is no congenital cataract there. There is no abnormal discharge in the eyes, symmetrical. So the eyes are okay. So from there, I'm going to move to the nose. Okay, I'm going to look at the patency of the nostrils. I've seen there are two nostrils with a septum separating the two nostrils. I'm going to look inside the nostrils there to check for any growth, any polyps. There's no any growth, no nasal polyps. Everything is fine in the nose there. So from there, I'll move to the mouth. So of the mouth there, I'm going to open up the mouth of the baby. I'm going to check for narrow teeth, cleft lip, and the cleft palate. So the baby is okay. There's no narrow teeth, there's no cleft lip, no cleft palate. everything is okay. No receding of the chin. Everything is okay on the face of the baby. So I'm going to move now to the ears. So on the ears, I'm going to check if the ears are symmetrical and in line with the eyes. Okay. So the ears are symmetrical. The pinna is well formed. There is no discharge. Sometimes the baby can have some injuries, of which you can see some CSF, cerebral spinal fluid, coming from the ears. So you also check for that. No discharge of anything from the ears. The ears are fully formed and they are well located. If they were lowly set, I would suspect some Down syndrome. That's the common one, Down syndrome to the baby, but they are in line with the eyes, so everything is okay. And then when I'm done with the head, I'm going to cover I'm coming to that. Webbing of the ears, yes. You also check for webbing. Okay. So there's no webbing, so I'll cover the head of the baby, and then I'm going to move to the neck. So on the neck there, you check for webbing. Okay, there's no webbing in this case. In this case, the neck is just okay. And then I'll palpate, okay, to check for any swollen lymph nodes, okay. There's no swollen lymph nodes. And then here I'll palpate for any congenital goiter. So you palpate on the neck there. So when you're trying to check for any swollen lymph nodes and congenital goiter, you need to use your hands to touch so that you can feel, because when you just use your eyes, you cannot easily see whether there is some swelling or any congenital goiter. So you need to feel it, you need to palpate. So everything is okay to this baby. Okay, so now I'm going to move to the upper limbs. Minus exposing the baby entirely. And the way you are doing this procedure, you have to ensure that the room is warm to prevent hypothermia from the baby. So, checking for the upper limb, you need to move the upper limb to check for any structure. If you see any restriction in movement or there is no control in movement, you would know that there is an injury to the nerve plexus, okay, which can be an indicator for paralysis, okay. So there is no restriction of movement, the baby is just fine. Now I need to bring the two hands together to check if they are of the same length. They are of the same length, and then I'm going to inspect each at a time, okay. So I'm going to check in the palms there. I should see the palmar creases, okay. If the palmar creases are not present, then I would suspect maybe the baby is premature, okay. So the palmar creases in this case are there, and then I'm going to count the digits, okay. A normal human being has got 5 digits, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there is no extra digit. And then I'm going to separate the digits one by one to rule out webbing. Okay, there is no webbing of the fingers, okay, and there is no extra digit. So I'm done with this one. I'm going to do the same to the other hand, okay. So I'll check for the palmar creases, okay, if they are present, and then I would know the baby is fully matured. And then I'll count the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 digits, no extra digits. And then I'm going to separate the 5 fingers to rule out webbing, okay. Even this other hand is fine. There's nothing wrong. Everything is okay. So from there, I'm going to move to the chest. So on the chest, I'm going to look at the rising and falling of the chest to rule out also fracture of the ribs, okay, during birth. So I'll look. There's normal rising and falling of the chest, and then I can see the 2 nipples there. They are symmetrical, okay. And then I'm going to palpate to check for any lump, okay, so that I can give proper IEC to the mother, okay. So you palpate the two breasts, okay? If there is any nipple, any swollen, what can I say? If I can feel any lump on the breast there is nothing wrong to the child, okay? It's something to do with the hormonal things to the mother. So I need to give proper IEC to say never should she squeeze the lump or do anything to it. It will subside on its own. So now from there I need to check the heart rate, okay? Of which I need to use a stethoscope. That's when the stethoscope comes in. I need to disinfect it so that I get the heart rate. Take one swab in spirit. Disinfect this part. Since we are dealing with the neonates, I'm going to use also water to wipe out the spirit because some neonates are sensitive to spirit. So wipe also with water there and then disinfect also this. If you are using your own stethoscope, maybe you shouldn't mind disinfecting this. So I'm going to press the stethoscope on the apical there. So, and count for a minute. I need to get the heartbeat per minute, okay? So I'm going to count for a minute, of which I'm supposed to get 120 to 140 beats per minute, okay? That's the normal range. So from there, I'm going to move to the abdomen. Yes, I forgot. So I've just remembered the time. Take this. So you place the tape on the forehead like that. Pass it through the occipital bone there behind, and then get the head circumference. Okay, for you to get the correct one, yeah, the bigger numbers has to face you, and then you go to the smaller number. So the head circumference is 36 centimeters, which is normal. Okay. Here on the chest also, we need to get the chest circumference. So the head circumference is from 36 to 46 to 52. The normal range is 36 to 45, and then you check the chest circumference. So here the chest is 31 centimeters, of which this baby is normal because the head has to be bigger than the chest. So it's normal. And then I need to move to the abdomen. There. So on the abdomen, I need to check the appearance of the abdomen. Is the abdomen distended or not? Okay. So the abdomen is just okay. Also, I need to check on the cord. Is there any bleeding? If at all I see any bleeding, that's why I carried extra cord clamp. Okay. So this cord clamp, if I notice there's some bleeding coming out on the cord there, I'm not supposed to remove the first cord clamp. All I would do is just reinforce, put the second one in front of or behind the first one so that I stop the bleeding. That's the use of the second cord clamp. But in this case, there is no bleeding, okay? There is no any signs of infection, no swelling there on the cord. Also, you have to look for any abnormalities like exomphalos, okay? And which other abnormalities? Exomphalos, of which it is type of a hernia on the cord there, which is self-limiting. And which other abnormalities on the abdomen? Yeah. What?
Yes.
Convalescent. Esophagus.
No.
Convalescent, right. Okay. We check for those things, okay? Here there is no abnormality on the abdomen, everything is okay. Okay, no swelling of anything on the cord. So I'm going to move now to the lower limbs. Yeah, on the lower limbs, you try to move them just like we did the upper limbs, to check for any restriction in movement, which can be an indicator of fracture. So there is no restriction in movement, okay, and you have to bring them together like that to check for if they are of the same length, okay, to rule out any deformities. So these legs are of the same length. So here also I'm going to check for omoplatas there, of which they are present. If they were not present, I would suspect maybe the baby is immature, the baby is premature. So the papa platters are present. I'm going to count now the digits of the feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is normal. There's no extra. Plantar crease. Plantar creases here in the sole of the baby. So you check for plantar creases there. And then you count the digits, of which in a normal human being it's 5 digits, and then the baby has got 5 digits, and then you separate them to check for any webbing from there. So there's no webbing. I will do the same to the other leg, okay? You check, it's one leg at a time, okay? So from there, I'm done with the leg, everything is normal. I'm going to turn the baby now. Yes, I should also check for talipes. That's one of the abnormalities which is common also. So you check for talipes, okay? There are a lot of types, right? Yeah. So I need to turn the baby there on the back. So I will look at the back. Okay, if I see hair like lanugo there, a lot of hair, I'll suspect maybe the baby is immature. Okay, and then I'm going to run my finger through the spinal cord to check for any abnormalities like infantile sclerosis there. So I have to run through the spinal cord because I would feel if at all the spinal cord is scaled somehow. I'm also going to assess for any spinal bifida, of which spinal bifida is visible there. You can see some swelling there, so you would know this is the spinal bifida. And then if you see, you observe the spinal cord is kept somewhere there on top, you know that is what kyphosis, right? Kyphosis there. And then if you see the curving is here in the middle, you see it's what? It's sclerosis. So here on the back, you check for the curvature of the spinal cord there. So this spinal cord is normal. Even the curving is normal. So I'm done with the back, and then I'm going to end with the genitalia. So on the genitalia there, this baby I'm examining is a female baby. So I'm going to look at the genitalia, and then if the baby, the labia minora is the one which has protruded very much, then I would think the baby is I would know the baby is immature, because the labia majora has to cover the labia minora, and then the clitoris there, it has to show. And then there, I will check for the opening of the vagina there. You check for all that. And then on the genitalia there are a lot of abnormalities, okay? So I need to check for any sex ambiguity there. Sometimes the baby may born, you don't know whether this baby is male or female. You can't differentiate the two. So you check for sex ambiguity there. And then you also check for hermaphrodites, where the baby has got a male and a female genitalia there at the same time. So you rule out all those things. So you have to observe so that you give appropriate IEC to the mother. And then from there, after checking for all that, this is a female baby. So the labia minora is there, the labia majora is normal, even the clitoris, even the opening of the vagina. Then I need to move down to the anus. Okay. Why I'm trying to check the anus there, the anal opening there, I need to check for anal atresia there. Sometimes babies are born without the opening there down on the anus there. So you check for that. You don't know I need to consult. Some people say you need to push in your finger for you to confirm that it is present, but I'm not so sure. So you just ask the mother if the baby is present. Okay, right. So there's no need of pushing anything there. All you need to do, if you want to confirm, you just have to ask the mother whether the baby has passed some stool or not. And then you also have to use the sense of sight to check there.
Those like other hospitals, like where I came from, you never discharge a baby if it doesn't pass urine or pass the colon. So the baby will only be discharged when it has passed urine.
So this is, I'm done with the female baby. But if you are examining a male baby there, so you need to see a penis there. Also, you need to see the scrotum down there. So on the penis there, you need to rule out what? Phimosis, okay? You need to rule out phimosis. Even the urethra, the location of the urethra is also very important. If the urethra is on the lower part of the penis, okay? The penis is even going. Hypospadiasis, okay? Hypospadiasis. If the urethra is lowly set, not on the middle there, then you know there is hypospadiasis there. And then you also palpate the scrotum to check for the testes, okay? So you need to touch them to make sure that the testes descended into the scrotum. So you need to palpate. If you can feel them, then well and good. If you can't feel them, then you can know there is reflexism on the baby. Okay, that's what you check for in a male baby and a female baby when it comes to the genitalia. What else? Have I left anything? No?
I think you're supposed to go to the back.
Back and then the legs. You need to dress the baby nicely. Okay. And then
the reflexes is part of physical exam. So I've just brought this to make it easier to understand. To start with, the reflex is an involuntary movement someone can make. Involuntary. So the characteristic of the reflex has to be involuntary, one. Then it has to be rapid. Then there should be a muscle involved. Then there should be a stimulant involved. Then a response, a rapid response. So if you look at that sequence of mambo jumbo, you have to just know that it's an involuntary movement an individual can make. Then it has to be rapid response. Then it has to be, there should be a muscle involved. Then there should be a stimulus involved. So what that means is that if you're trying to test for the reflexes on a baby, there should be stimulus. When there's a stimulus, meaning this is, we just say, I want to stimulate maybe the hamstring muscle. When there is a stimulus there, that's number one. You stimulate, or maybe by pinching also, then there should be a message which should be sent through this neuron, which is a sensory neuron. Then a reflex will be, the interpretation will be quick, so it has to end into the spinal cord. So meaning when it goes into the spinal cord, just there will be some interneuron junction there. In the interneuron junction, then there will be a connection back to through the sensory neuron to the arm string. Meaning there was a stimulus, then there is some message transmitted, then a response has to be made, which has to be rapid. So that rapid response will be made. Same as if I just do this, okay? The response is somewhere else. You see? So, yes. but the response for someone who's not expecting, even if you're doing maybe patella tendon reflex, you come out there should be that kicking, meaning that is a reflex. So in babies, there should be two types of reflexes. There are those reflexes which end at 12 months, starting at 2 months, some are dead immediately up to 12 months. Then there are those which go until somebody dies. Say the coughing reflex. The coughing reflex, we go until someone dies. So coughing reflex, sneezing reflex, yawning reflex, blinking reflex, those will be there. More. Yes, so sensory, spinal cord, more. Yes. So I was listing the types of reflexes that will disappear. So those which someone will stay with until they die. Those are the blinking reflex, yawning reflex, the gag reflex, the coughing reflex, the sneezing reflex. Those reflexes will be present on a baby, but those they have to stay with the baby. Then there are those reflexes that disappear. Say up to 12 months, they have to disappear. And then in our say RN teaching, we concentrate on the 5. And these mostly they disappear, the ones we're concentrating on. So to start with, we're going to start with the moral reflex. Moral will disappear at some point, so mostly those 5 which disappear. But then there are those others which I will not mention, say the plantar. Okay? The plantar reflex, some say Bartleski, those not mentioned. So we'll just mention some of those which disappear, but they're very important, and those are the ones we teach our children, the 5. So we'll start with the moral. So moral reflex, it has different methods of testing. Some used to throw babies up so that the baby can be frightened and then would more like bring its hands together, its legs together. But then throwing of babies up has been discouraged. No longer throw babies up. So some would tap on the desk like that, and then the baby will more like yes. So it can also be called a startle reflex. It's a startle reflex. They just get startled out, more like they're afraid. Okay. So the moral, some would tap there, and then some would get the baby. Then you drop it on the other palm like that. Then to get frightened, and you bring the arms together and the legs together. So that's a moral reflex. So all this is just to try and test the nervous system of this baby. So the next one that we would test is we'll call it routine reflex. So routine reflex is where you try to frickle or to stroke the finger. So this finger is coming from the angle of the mouth of this baby towards the ear. So the baby would turn its head towards the finger which is trying to tickle or frickle. And then it will also demonstrate signs of sucking as you are trying to tickle or frickle towards the ear. So it will turn towards that finger which is trying to frickle or tickle. So from there, we're go to another reflex, which is sucking reflex. So sucking, something natural, it has to be present. So you need to get its thumb and place it in its mouth. Then this baby has to suck if the sucking reflex is present. It has to demonstrate sucking on its finger. So if it's demonstrating sucking, meaning you conclude to say the sucking reflex is present in this baby. So all that is under the nervous system. Then from there, you have to go to another reflex, which is a grasp reflex, or you can call it a palm grasp reflex, because there's also a plantar grasp reflex. So this is a palm grasp reflex. So as you place your finger in its palm, it has to hold. Then as you try to release the finger, this baby will still hold on, and then you may also lift it together. It can follow like that. It can come with it. So that's aggressive. Meaning it doesn't want to let go, it's holding on to the finger. So it will still follow like that. So that's aggressive reflex. Then we go to another reflex, which is a step reflex. A step can also be called primitive walk reflex, or a step or a walk reflex. So it's good. Yes. Giant walk. Giant walk or walk, different names. So the sole or the plantar sole of its foot or feet or plantar has to be on a hard surface like that. Flat and hard surface. So you have to place it. Then when it senses that it's stepping somewhere hard and flat, the baby has to make a giant step, has to make a walk, has to move. So it has to.
It doesn't face you. It doesn't matter where it is.
So it will make that giant step. So I'm not sure where to face.
Facing will be better.
There, then it has to make that step on its own. So it will make the step. So it's more like it wants to walk. So that's a walk. So we have mentioned the 5 that we teach our children. We started with motor, then the rooting reflex, sucking reflex. We went to the grasp reflex, palmar grasp reflex. Then we went to the primitive walk reflex, or the walk reflex, or the giant walk. So those are the reflexes that we teach our children, but then there are many more, like I mentioned, that we do not even examine them, like the gag reflex, blinking, and there is also off reflex. We do not teach them those, so we just concentrate on the 5.